All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog number 50, folks. I have done this for 50 days in a row, and that is nonsense. So today, I have some nonsense that I want to show you guys in the best possible way. I want to preface this by saying this is not sponsored. I am in no way affiliated with this group. It just so happens they have created something that I find bonkers and amazing. Without any further ado, if I say the word Sentai, you're probably, if you're like me, you're probably going to go, oh, Super Sentai, that's the thing that Power Rangers is based on. And if I say sensibility, you're probably going to go, wow, that's a big word. But if I put them together into Sentai and sensibility, guys, this is bonkers awesome. There is a Kickstarter right now. As of recording, it has 65 hours left to go. I would have talked about this sooner if I knew it existed. I had no idea it existed, and now I do, and now I'm obsessed with it. But this project, this Kickstarter project is for a new tabletop RPG called Sentai and Sensibility. And it's basically, it answers the question of what if Jane Austen wrote Power Rangers? This is literally taken directly from the website, like here. So I'm just going to read their description because I don't think I have the words to describe it any better than what they have here. Like colliding hearts, Sentai and Sensibility brings together the childlike abandon of Sunday morning tokusatsu with the profound joy of Regency romance novels. Basically, what if Jane Austen wrote Power Rangers? It's Bridgerton meets kaiju. It's not that hard to say, it's just hard for me to say. You play gentlefolk, gentry in a British Regency that never was. Your life is country parties, social dances, and strolls on the promenade in a new dress, until a kaiju appears and ruins the afternoon. You and your Sentai of Rangers will transform, aka Henshin, into a unit of suited heroes. Each week you will defend society from the monstrous organization known as the Syndicate, who never seem to take your social engagements into account before attacking. It's hard to find a suitable spouse when you're always punching things from inside your giant mecha. You will kick, punch, and English country dance your way through every rendezvous. Combat against monsters from another realm may be hard to navigate, but not as hard as guaranteeing an invite in polite society. Whether this is your first ball or you know all the moves, Sentai and Sensibility is powered by Polymorph trademark, making it easier than falling in love across the dance floor. So what is this? As far as I can tell, I have not had a ton of time to fully do my nonsense deep dive into all this stuff. It is a new tabletop RPG, which is literally Jane Austen meets Power Rangers. And it uses what's called the polymorph system. I did look a little bit into the polymorph system. The polymorph system is kind of interesting in the idea, well, I'll just read what they have here. Powered by Polymorph, it's easy to get started fighting Syndicate and their evil giant monsters. Each player creates a heroic Sentai warrior and decides on which role they want to play, which determine which die they roll. Whenever you take an action, you always roll that die to check the polymorph resolver, see below, to see if the action is a success. Basically, you will have a set die associated with your roll, and there's basically a table that you roll on, and depending on what you're doing in Sentai and Sensibility, it looks like the 6 categories of things you can do are honor, etiquette, footwork, dueling, vigor, and hero. And the card that you have will have a list of numbers next to each one of those things. Like the one that they have here for, I'm thinking it's the Dragoon, if the artwork is anything to be taken from. For honor, you have to roll a 1 on the die to succeed. However, for dueling, you can roll a 4, 5, 6, or 7 in order to succeed. And if you go for something like vigor, you can do a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 to succeed. So basically, anytime you do something, you have this card. And from what it looks like here, and again, I haven't done a massive deep dive. They do have an actual play that was played almost a month ago. I'm assuming right near the beginning of this Kickstarter. That I haven't had a chance to watch yet because I just found out it existed. But effectively, it sounds like when you decide to make a roll, you or the GM or both will decide, does this fit under honor, etiquette, footwork, dueling, vigor, or hero? And they will probably have definitions in the game to kind of more closely define which each one of those categories would normally entail, which is very typical of a more rules-like game like this. And then you make your roll, and if you get one of the numbers that is next to the thing on your card, you're going to succeed, and if you don't, you're going to fail. So a very simple, easy to understand game. I have no idea how complex the game is going to be because, again, I don't know anything about the polymorph system other than the brief amount of research I've been able to do into it. It was apparently nominated for an Emmy back in 2020, the polymorph system in and of itself. And I believe the first game to use it was called Mazes, if I'm looking at this correctly, which is your kind of classic sword and sorcery style tabletop RPG. But they've got a lot of other systems that already use the polymorph system. Things like Rebel Scum, which, if it sounds like it reminds you of a certain franchise, it's because it looks pretty damn close to that. And I would assume it's meant to tell kind of space opera style stories. There's another one called Business Wizards, another one called The Excellence, Nancy Druid. I mean, it writes itself. Anyway, for anyone that may be brand new to this channel or something like that, I am a massive fan of Power Rangers in general. I've got an entire shelf of Power Rangers memorabilia that I've collected over the years. I've got the Power Rangers role-playing game right there. I love Power Rangers. I love tabletop games. And I like unique mechanics for tabletop games. Don't get me wrong, I love D&D. I run 2 campaigns of D&D right now, and I'm playing in the third. It's not that I don't like your kind of traditional roll a d20, add a random number to it, and then resolve. But as I have been exploring and learning about more RPGs, the ones that I tend to start fixating on are the ones that are not your basic roll a d20 and add something to it and see if you will win. Like the Open Legend, All Dice Explode. That one was really fun because there was all these big numbers and stuff like that, and it was a really interesting system. Or the Cipher system, you actually don't add anything to it. Any modifiers are made to the difficulty, not to your roll. I think that makes things unique. Or like the Age system, where you roll 3d6, and if you get doubles, you can perform stunts, and you get this little menu of things that you get to kind of pick off of to do cool things. All of those I find really interesting and fun, and it's not that your more traditional D&D or Pathfinder or other games similar to those are bad. I've played a lot of them. I have like 3,000 or 4,000 hours worth of D&D experience. I'm very familiar with how all of it works. I just like seeing something new, something unique, and as far as I can tell, Sentai and Sensibility is definitely unique. It looks so interesting, and again, anything even slightly Power Rangers related I'm going to look into. I have not backed it as of yet because, again, I just found out about it like this morning, effectively. So yeah, I thought that for today's video, I really couldn't go wrong to talking about this because it looks so good. So anyway, I'm gonna have a link to the Kickstarter down below. On the Kickstarter, they actually have a link to the actual play. It's on Twitch. If you want to see what it is, but I highly recommend, even if, I mean, especially if it sounds like nonsense to you, at least check out the Kickstarter and see what you might gonna get. What it's looking like, the digital only version of it is a $12 pledge. So this is not something like Matt Colville's. If you wanted to pledge, you were looking at the $50 to $60 range to get the stuff. This is $12. And if you want physical versions of it, it gets a little bit more expensive, and you have to pay shipping. So whatever you want to go for it, but it's not incredibly expensive. It doesn't look like it's going to be an incredibly complex Giga game, which I like. And it's not looking like this is something that you would want to run like an 8-year campaign using. This looks a little bit more short form content. Not to say you couldn't run a multi-year campaign, but things like, well, I mean, I wouldn't consider Open Legend to be something that you would run a multi-year campaign. And we ran our Open Legend game for a well, I guess not multi-year, but it's not nearly as kind of long-lived as something like the D&D 5th edition is. And our Open Legend campaign went for 5.5 years. So anyway, I just thought it was cool, and I'm tired about just talking about personal stuff. So I figured I would plug somebody that seems to be doing something interesting and unique. Anyway, it's going to be all for me today. I will see you guys in the next time. All right? Bye-bye.